Hi. Hey, congratulations on the first season of Brilliant Minds.
Thank you.
You know what? We have to love this show, especially the fact that it merges. I want to say merges the genre of both doctors and detectives, all both at the same time in this case. But for the both of you, what initially drew you that you wanted to be part of this project?
I mean, oh,
You'll go, please go.
okay. Um, I am a lifelong Grey's Anatomy fan, and I spoke a little bit about this earlier, but I didn't really fit in as a kid, so I television was like my escape and my world that I got to live in when I wasn't having good days. And Grey's was like my go-to, so I already felt like I knew how to be a doctor coming into this experience. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to be on a TV show where I get to like, I don't know where their story is going yet, and I get to grow alongside them, and I get to be a collaborative voice in developing who they are. And we are really lucky that we have writers that put so much of who we are into the characters. So yeah, it's just been such an exciting experience to like get to play and get to learn more about them.
Ashley?
I would say what drew me to it is our showrunner, actually. I really, really liked the script when I read it. And then the showrunner and I had a conversation because NAMI is an organization that the National Alliance of Mental Health, is mental illness is like an organization that I really support. And I was like very gung ho about like, if we are going to portray things to deal with the brain, if we are going to portray things that deal with mental health issues, then we have to do it in a way that is not like, oh, I'm out here and I'm being crazy. Like that's so uninteresting to me. And our showrunner was just like 100% on board and was like, no, I want to, if we're dealing with a patient who has depression, then I want to show what that can look like in a realistic way, in a truthful way, in a way that we are uplifting people and like allowing people to be seen and allowing people to feel heard and doing it in a way that feels right and feels safe and feels celebratory of who Oliver Sacks was. And so that conversation was just such a great one. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, sign me up. Please hire me.
Well said. How do both of you actually handle each episode? Because each episode brings up a, sort of a mental illness or disease. And as for myself, like watching each episode, like I have to go on Google to see if it's even real or not real. I mean, how do either of you actually handle this? Or do you just basically say, whatever is on the script, I don't care.
I think we all sort of like every time we get a new script, you're going to look it up because even people watching it, I've had family members who are like, is that real? Is that real? Is maple syrup urine syndrome like a real thing? Because that sounds like it's made up. And so I think anytime I get a new script, I'm going to like do my research about like what this is, what does that look like? What case is this based off of from Oliver Sacks, if it is, and usually they are. So yeah, it's really fun to get to see the way that the writers have brought these real cases into the forefront of the stories that we're telling.
Did either of you actually have to go through some kind of a, medical training or medical boot camp to learn how to behave, as doctors or learn medical jargons and trying to pronounce some of these words?
Yes, we have a medical consultant on set pretty much every day that we are shooting to make sure that we are not doing anything that is not accurately representative of real healthcare professionals. And if we have to, perform a procedure or if there is, anything outside of the realm of something, no, really just any medical procedure, whether it's, inserting an IV, we learned how to like take our gloves off and put them on correctly. And we learned about the sterile field and all of these things. They'll set aside a separate rehearsal for us to go and spend time with medical professionals who advise us and teach us how to do all of these things in a way that is going to be authentic to, the actual experience. So yes, they are very well researched, which is interesting because we don't really get a lot of rehearsal time for, in terms of like storytelling, but they rehearse us to make sure they make the time for us to go in and make sure that we are doing everything up to snuff.
And of course, the medical sets itself, looks realistic. I mean, I've been on medical sets on some studios, and the intricate details that they put into these sets are amazing. What's special about the like Brilliant Minds that makes it different from the other medical shows?
In terms of the set itself,
Yeah, yeah. Do
I
you know?
I don't know that there's something that makes it different because this is my second show doing a medical show. But I would say like the level of detail that goes into, I mean, like from things that won't even make it on camera. Like anytime we're handed an official document or like paperwork, it will always have like things written into it. There'll be chart notes, there'll be patient notes with the name of the patient, with the age of the patient, like every sign in a hospital. If you like got a magnifying glass and held it up to there, every sign has like accurate information about like these are the codes in a hospital. This is the name of the hospital. Everything has like the Bronx General seal. We got to watch them put the floor in. Were you there that day when we got to watch them?
No,
Just me. I'm a stalker, little creep that I'd like. I would be like, what's going on behind this
you
curtain?
are just from brush and you never see her coming.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So like I got to watch them put the floor in and just like watching the amount of work and the number of people it takes to make this show. Like we're the faces of the show, but like there are so many people that make this show happen that like it would not be possible
It
without
is
them.
banana. Set deck is like they make it so that we get to step on set and we're like, yeah, I am fully in a hospital down to every little last detail. They had to build an ambulance bay outside of one of the studios, so it looks like sort of a semi-exterior set. And they put that thing together in like a week. And the the ground meets the ceiling of the building, this is all inside. They put little tiny moss and
Ease.
plants that would be growing and leaves that would be growing out of like where a wall meets the floor outside in an ambulance bay. And it's all of these like lovely little details. The walls are scuffed up because we're in a hospital that's underfunded. And it's like, it really is like you watch it and you're like, this is really authentic. And I think sometimes you do watch shows and you're like, okay, like everything looks like it was purchased brand new, which is, sometimes it works for the set, but for ours, like every little thing has been touched, has been held, has been worked in a way like our shoes. They scuff up our shoes so that we are never in, it looks like we're walking around a hospital for like 18 hours at a time.
Most excellent. Well, let me wrap it up with one last question. The reason why we love these medical shows is not just the medicine themselves, but the characters that these writers actually write up for you. Tell us about your character's story arc and character flaws for those people who want to know more about your character in this journey for with Brilliant Minds.
I will go first because she's looking at me. I play Erica Kinney. She is the smartest person in the room always, so she thinks, but also she is a Harvard graduate. She's a first year intern. She does things by the book. She is a book learner. She's very smart about things on paper. And I think her arc this season is learning how to be a better doctor. Dr. Wolf sort of is the complete opposite. He does nothing by the book whatsoever. I don't know that he's even read the book. He probably has and has forgotten it immediately. And so learning how to think outside the box with these patients, learning how to deepen her empathy for these patients, because there's a couple times where she's judgmental of things and like is unwilling to see past what her initial impression of someone is. And learning also, I think, the whole season to have a work-life balance and to let go of some of her control is what I would say her arc this season has been.
Excellent. Last word.
I think Dana is at first glance, she's kind of acerbic. She's very sarcastic. She masks with humor. She always has a point of view, and sometimes she shouldn't share it, but she always will. And I think that's what we get in the first few episodes from Dana. And then I think you get to learn a lot more about what that comes from and how that behavior is actually just developed as a coping mechanism for her because she's experienced tragedy in her life. And yeah, I think you'll get to kind of peel back a couple pieces of the a couple layers and learn about why she is the way that she is, and then maybe see how that opens up a couple of different new relationships and renders her a little bit more vulnerable so that she can grow and find find a little bit, maybe a more authentic version of herself throughout the season.
Well said. I mean, that's why we love these shows. So thank you, ladies, for speaking to us. I certainly hope you get 100 episodes. This is so exciting for you, both of you. So thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
Thank you.